Happy holidays to all my gamers in the house. Welcome to the last Almost Gaming, and indeed my last vlog of 2013. Maybe you're watching this right before a New Year's Eve party. Or maybe it's 2014 and you're watching this in the future. Ooh, do we have rocket cars yet? Anyway, we have one more vlog to get through before the 3 becomes a 4, so let's get to it. We will start with Nintendo, who hasn't gotten off to the greatest start with their next generation console, the Wii U. That's been well established, we've even talked about it here. But one place that Nintendo definitely enjoys a home field advantage over their Seattle-based Microsoft rivals is on the island of Japan. Player Essence reports that the Wii U has sold 1.5 million units in Japan since its release last year. Comparing those numbers to the Xbox 360, since the Xbox One has yet to be released in Japan, is not something that Microsoft is really fond of doing. In the 8 years the 360 has been on the market in Japan, Microsoft has sold a grand total of 1.6 million units. The Wii U will surpass the Xbox 360 in sales next month. Now, some people see this as a negative for Microsoft, and certainly it is. So why am I including this as the Nintendo segment? Because I see this as good news for Nintendo as well. Since games tend to come out around the same time or even earlier in Japan, Japan's sales numbers tend to be a good preview of what we might get in the United States. The Wii U is recovering in Japan, and hopefully that trend also carries over here to America. Alright, now that we've got that bad Xbox news out of the way, we can get to a lot more bad Xbox One news. It has been a rough week for the green and black box. Website News for Shoppers reports that the disk drive issue that plagued the Xbox One at its launch has persisted. And to add an extra dollop of terrible, Microsoft reserves the right to send refurbished or scratch and dent consoles as replacements. The story documents a man who sent Microsoft his non-functioning one, and in return received a functioning one with a 3-inch scratch across the front. And there was absolutely no damage to the shipping box, which indicates it definitely came from Microsoft in this fashion. Spawn First News points out that the Xbox support forums are getting an abnormal number of complaints about the Xbox One controller. Oh, don't worry, this is an Xbox 360 controller. The complaints range from the construction being just a little bit loose, all the way up to the batteries in the controller getting so hot that you can feel them through the back of the controller, leading many to worry about it possibly being a fire hazard. There have been some reports also on Spawn First of Xbox One consoles that have had some smoke coming out of them, but the best story also comes to us from Spawn First. There have been some reports of Xbox One consoles that have been leaking fluid. A sticky fluid to be exact. The writer of the piece speculates it to be capacitor fluid, over-applied in construction and then melted by the nearby heatsink. But all of these stories just blend together into the overall idea of a console that is overpriced and under-reliable. Over on the other side of the newly released consoles war, Sony seems to be doing quite well indeed. Extreme Tech, who we last cited for a PC gaming story, points out that while both consoles did break past the 1 million units sold mark on launch day, that the PS4 has now broken past 2 million ahead of the Xbox One and seems to be racing ahead. However, the sales figure that they used to support a 2-for-1 lead on the Xbox One claim is eBay holiday sales. The PS4 currently leads the Xbox One 65,000 to 33,000 in holiday sales on eBay. However, as Time Magazine's tech website section points out, eBay and other secondary market numbers could mean anything. The Xbox One could be easier to find than the PlayStation 4, leading more Force seekers to eBay to find units. Also, the average prices of the consoles on eBay are not included. Now, I do believe the PlayStation 4 is outselling the Xbox One. It's just that right now it's hard to tell by how much, and I think 2 to 1 might be overstating it just a little. One of the perks of PC gaming is that if a development company won't add a certain game mode or storyline to a PC game, you can bet that somebody out there either already has or is going to. Thus, the modding community was born. ModDB has gone all 2013 is ending on us and posted up a top 10 list of 2013 PC game mods. You can find the entire list right down below in the video description, but let's take a look at the medal stand, the top 3. In third place is Rise of the Reds, a mod for Command & Conquer Generals. This project actually started way back in 2004 and has seen some leadership changes since then. However, it was finally released in 2008 and seems to be doing very well. This mod adds a Russian faction to the game as well as some new tech. In second place is No More Room in Hell, which takes the eminently moddable Half-Life 2 and adds zombies. Not exactly an original idea, but it does seem to use the engine very well and adds an original storyline to that engine. Drumroll please. And the winner of the 2013 DB Mod of the Year is Multiplayer! If that title sounds just a little bit generic, that's because I left out the first part of the title, Just Cause 2. This mod takes the insane fun of Just Cause 2, a game where, as Yahtzee puts it, you can hijack a military jet, point it at the nearest tall building, stand on the nose cone and surf it all the way to the cafeteria, and adds the multiplayer element that it has been missing. This idea took off in a huge way and has even been included in the core game's Steam release. My thoughts? I haven't played any of these, but as far as overall impressions, I'd have reversed the order of the top 3. Adding multiplayer to Just Cause 2 seems like a great idea, but it's just a single game element. No More Room in Hell might be a great original story, but using the word original to describe a zombie story kind of stretches its meaning nowadays. Rise of the Reds adds a faction that should be in every Command & Conquer game, and has gone through a lot to get where it is today. So, for whatever it's worth, I guess Rise of the Reds gets Almost Gaming's #1 PC mod of 2013. And I'm sure we'll be seeing that on a box real soon. And for our featured story, we have yet another example of just how ridiculous the Content ID system has gotten. Although to be fair, this is more an example of how ridiculous it already was and how it's just getting worse. A few months ago, a YouTube user named Jonathan Blow uploaded some footage from a PS4 indie game coming up called The Witness to YouTube. A short while later, YouTube contacted him with a Content ID match, saying that the footage of the game was owned by Sony. So, why is this a story? Because Mr. Blow is the developer of The Witness. It's his game. Do we need a better example that Content ID is just a robot that has no ideas about context and true ownership of copyright? Blow says that the issue has yet to be resolved, but that he believes Sony did not issue a takedown notice, just that Content ID made the match. Well, the clock's getting pretty close to midnight, so why don't we wrap things up? But before you have that next glass of champagne, let me remind you that this is the last Almost Gaming vlog that will be posted to this channel. Next week's 2014, and Almost Gaming will be moving to its brand new YouTube channel at youtube.com/almostgamingvlog. So before 2013 becomes a fuzzy memory, why don't you head on over there right now and subscribe so you don't miss anything. Now don't worry, I am going to try to post a reminder video here on Tuesday, just in case anybody comes looking for Almost Gaming here. Well, the clock is striking midnight on another edition of Almost Gaming. Make sure you click the like button right down below the video to like this video, and leave us a comment or a question while you're down there. Make sure you're subscribed to youtube.com/almostgamingvlog to see Almost Gaming next week. And you can subscribe to this channel as well, Sean Fowler, to keep watching Almost Interesting, my me vlog, which is posted every Friday. Find us on Facebook by searching for Almost Gaming and looking for the black and white logo. And you can also find us on Twitter at AlmostGamingVLG. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a wonderful 2013, are enjoying your New Year's Eve, and have an even more wonderful 2014. Stay tuned for extra lives, my blooper segment, so you can start 2014 off with a laugh. And remember this most of all, into 2014, I want all of you to game on. Welcome to something. On the island of Japan. And I forgot the rest. We will start with Nintendo, who hasn't gotten off to the greatest start with their new... Microsoft has sowed. Well, that's why it's not selling very well. You can't... Here, it's made of quality plastics and metals and excellent, like, nice little screws and everything. And over in Japan, they're sewing them, making them out of thread and fabric. You can't play games on that. And received back a functioning one with a 3-inch scratch across the front. I just need to remember the last sentence and I can just tack it right on. The box. There are an abnormal number of complaints on the... Over on the other side of the new points out that while both consoles did break 1 million in sales on launch day, this takes the insane fun of Just Cause 2, a game that, as Yahtzee said, Rise of the Reds adds a faction that should be in every single Command & Conquer game, and does a great job of doing it and pretending that you had your script going. Before you have that next glass of champagne, let me remind you, it sounds like I've had some of those glasses of champagne. Let me remind you that Almost Gaming is a show that is on YouTube, hosted by me and the Xbox controller. It's Sean and the Xbox controller. He doesn't have a PS4 one. The Xbox controller gets mad at him sometimes because he says bad things about Microsoft. But it's because Microsoft hasn't made a good console right now. Wow. Subscribe to this channel to see my almost interesting vlog posted in a time of space of the great time of the day. And while you're down there, leave us a comment or a question. Subscribe to see? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a great 2013, and remember about Facebook and Twitter. Remember to subscribe to youtube.com/the Almost Gaming Showtime Happiness of Great Fun Time vlog, which might be a little long for the URL, but we're thinking about getting a shortener. And remember this, into 2014, I want all of you to extra lives.